All right, guys. Nice basic stretch there for y'all. Stretch is over. You guys are done there. Again, I'm getting a little bit somber here because I want to give opportunity for you to reflect on stuff. But I did want to talk about something, right? Decompress the body is very important. You need to do that. Decompress the mind, emotions as well. So you guys notice my profile, PTSD, right? That's what I'm focusing on. I'm bringing awareness to. Being a first responder has its consequences, right? And it's like any other disease or any other sickness. There's a rhyme or reason to it. Sometimes it's hereditary, sometimes it's not. Like cancer. Sometimes it's hereditary, sometimes it's not. Sometimes you can be the healthiest person in the world. Who the bug decides to strike doesn't matter because it strikes either way, right? So our industry is prone to suffering that. A lot of our brothers and sisters are going through suffering consequences of trauma and different situations in life that we're just not built to handle. We're not really designed to handle the pressures that are in front of us. Especially if your job is to be into situations that we're not meant to be in, there's going to be consequences. So what I wanted to say about it is that do we talk about it? Should we talk about it? So let me give you a little quick little story. This is one of the last calls that I went to. Not one of the last ones, but it was one that I went to about 2 years ago. I think it was about 2 years ago, year and a half maybe. It was a car accident. Semi truck wasn't paying attention. Car in front of it was stopped, ready to turn. By the time he realized it was too late to stop and smashed right into the back end of it. In the back seat was his child, a little boy, beautiful little boy, 7 years old. So that day I was at the volunteer department. Some times of the day we get a lot of support, sometimes we don't. I drove the engine to the scene. Already on scene were several other volunteers and other firefighters. EMS was there as well. But because of the time of the day and limited resources, we didn't have the right tools to take the child out. There was oil and fuel spilled everywhere. I was on the engine, so my job was to secure the area and get a line on the ground and tend to the pump. And the whole time, trying to think what's on this truck that we can use to pry this child out of this car that was smashed in totally from the back. And he was in a seat, smashed in the back. And we're just talking about a matter of minutes, right? It's a matter of minutes that all this is going on. So as a first responder, as an EMS, as EMT, we're never going to yank somebody out of a car, right? That's not, you wouldn't want to hurt somebody even more by just yanking them out of a situation. You'd want to cut the car out to take the victim out, which is what we're trying to think about doing with the child. But the father, who was in the front seat, and he was fine. He couldn't wait any longer, right? And again, we're just talking about a matter of minutes. He got desperate. He grabbed his child and he yanked him out. Well, they took him to the hospital and he fought for his life, but the child didn't make it. He didn't make it. So the question is, you get back to the station, you want to talk about it? Why do we have to ask that? Like, I think that's the point of my story in this conversation, is that we don't need to ask, hey, do you want to talk about it? Right? Hey, do you think we should go over what happened. I know that call hurt me a lot. I know for a fact it hurt the other officer that was on scene and he was in command of the situation. It affected him a lot. My point is that if your situation, your culture, your department, you know we're going through stuff. You know we're going through situations and we're being exposed. Just like if we were exposed to a contaminant, we don't ask, hey, should we wash ourselves, guys? It's automatic, right? We're going to wash down, we're going to clean up, we're going to decontaminate. The pressures and the rigors and these experiences shouldn't be asked. We shouldn't have to ask, I should say. Let's make it automatic. Let's talk about it. Hey, this is how I felt. And so the biggest part of establishing that and creating that environment are listeners, right? Because there's no two situations alike. I don't pretend here and say that, oh, I know what everybody's going through. I know what you're going through. Anybody who tells me that, my first and automatic response is, you have no idea what I'm going through. You don't know. You don't know. So it's not really a matter of I know what you're going through and I'm going to tell you what to do and I know what you need. It's not that. It's really having an ear, having somebody there to talk to and just allow to express. And the only other thing I would want to add, because the solution is I think out of the grasp of any one person. And so, in not looking for a solution, what I would like to contribute is not adding to the problem. And what I would say to that is this: if you know somebody who's going through and suffering any type of PTSD, depression, anxiety, trauma, if you know that person's going through that, know this: expectations kill. Expectations kill, right? What I mean by that is that whenever we want to help somebody, we expect them to correspond. We expect them to get better. We expect them to see the positive. We expect them to be normal again one day. And all of those type of expectations, while there may be very loving behind them, right? Loving motivation behind it. The reality is that when somebody's going through their dark period, expectations kill. So I just want to throw that out there. If there's anybody out there that has a loved one, doesn't know how to help, it's okay not to know how to help. What's important is to be there, and what's important is to want to help, right? I would say. All right, sorry if I got a little bit too dark and heavy there, and a little bit graphic, but I wanted to make that point across. All right, guys, y'all take care. Xander wants to say goodbye too. Ain't she, bud?